Welcome to another reaction video. Today we're going to be interacting with Andrew Tate, who recently converted to Islam.
Anyone who's perspicacious enough to look around them and sees the true evil in the world today understands that there must be an equal and opposite to that true evil.
Now this is an interesting argument he has that needs to be tightened up. What he needs to say, when you look at all the evil around you in the world today, unless there is a God by which we define that activity as being evil, then that evil isn't evil at all. In other words, there's no such thing as evil if there's no such thing as good. The definition of evil, evil is parasitic. No one does evil things for evil's sake. Evil is always derivative. It's always a bent thing. You can't have any definition of bent without an idea of the straight. So it's true that there's got to be a counterpart to the evil that we see in the world, but basically it should be presented a little more carefully than he's doing here. He's saying, he's talking about it like it's a problem in physics, like an equal and opposite reaction, as though God is equal to the evil. No, God is the one by whom we can define the evil as evil. But I think you can argue from the existence of evil and our deep-seated understanding that the evil is truly objectively evil, but that's not the case. That can't be the case unless there's a God. That's so his argument is got a good instinct there, but it needs to be tightened.
I realized there was so much evil and so much injustice and so much specifically. It's just the endless, genuine, deliberate attempts at destroying the baseline morality of humans. Just making us believe that to the point where pedophilia isn't even bad anymore. Like incest is okay. Like things we know are wrong. We just innately know it's wrong. And they're just trying their best to destroy our moralities. And these moralities were installed in us by somebody or something. I believe God now. And they are attempting to destroy them. Who would attempt to destroy the baseline morality that was God-given? Satan. So if Satan is trying to destroy our morality, then God must be real. So equal and opposite forces, Newton's law proved God. So once I realized God was real, it's like, okay, then you have all these different interpretations of God, which is interesting. What's interesting about the Christianity-Islamic debate is that they're both Abrahamic. And also, people said to me, well, you're not from the Middle East. Why would you be Muslim? And it kind of makes me laugh. I say, Christianity, didn't that all happen in Palestine? Like, all of it comes from the same place, right? I'm not a scholar, so I don't want to get on the scholastic route. But Christianity and Islam have a lot in common. They worship a lot of the same people. Islam has another book, the last book, which was the Seal. And truthfully, if we're going to step away from the scholarship angles and talk about the Bible and the Quran, etc., I look at it in a different angle. I look at the world through a very realistic understanding of force. And I understand that if you're not prepared to defend something, it will be taken and destroyed. I understand that, like we said earlier, violence is the underpinning of all civilized societies. Even when I look at a big tree, I see violence. I understand that tree is the biggest because it destroyed all the other trees around it. If you're not prepared to defend or fight, then you're going to be destroyed. So when I look at Christianity in its current form, I don't think that they can be right in terms of their interpretation of God, because if they were correct, God would give them the strength to defend themselves. And they don't. Christianity doesn't mean anything anymore. If the Christian interpretation of God was correct, then God would be giving them the strength to resist, but they don't resist anything. I don't believe Christians have preserved a single thing in modern time. I know in America...
Now, this is a point where I'm not prepared to say, ow, ow, ow. But I think if you listen to him carefully, a lot of Christians in the Western world need to be saying, ow, ow, ow. All for the sake of a good, gentle, winsome testimony. I want you to take a hard look at what a rotten testimony you've got.
I know in America there's this hard-line Christians who believe that they're trying hard. They are still failing on a daily basis.
I would just interject here. The hardline Christians who do fight and who have not yet prevailed, although we will prevail, those hardline Christians are in a comparable place to the Muslims who are fighting and losing in different parts of the world. Islam is in retreat. Islam fights, sure enough, but Islam is fighting in a panicked way because they are losing so much territory.
In most of the world, especially in Europe, Christianity is absolutely not a joke. The thing that actually finally converted me was about 3 weeks ago. I'll send you the TikTok. It was the first drag queen Methodist preacher.
Oh, geez, man.
Yeah, but this is the point. If you're tolerant of everything, then you stand for nothing. So once you say I'm a Christian, but I tolerate everything under the name of tolerance, well, then you no longer have any beliefs. So if you have no beliefs, then all of it is garbage. If the only way you can worship a God is if that God gives you instructions, and if those instructions are adhered to and respected by the followers, and also if the followers of the particular God, I'm not going to say names, stick up for and defend those beliefs and are prepared to be ridiculed or prepared to be stigmatized. And two, like I said earlier, a bottom line of society's violence, to fight to defend those beliefs. If you have a belief system that nobody will fight to defend, then you don't have beliefs.
Amen.
Just like feminism. If nobody fights to defend it, it goes away. Like Christianity, if nobody stands up for the rules, it goes away. There is one religion on the planet today in which people stand up for the rules, they stick by the rules, they refuse to be mocked, and they refuse to completely throw away their values and belief systems under the guise of tolerance.
That's not true, but he can be excused for thinking that it is true. He's got enough evidence to point to, does he not?
Because they don't want to be tolerant of everything. They said, no, we're not tolerant of everything, because when you're tolerant of everything, you have no morality. That's what we talked about earlier. Baseline morality means there's some things you're intolerant of because you're a moral person. So to be moral, you have to be intolerant to a degree. There's one religion on the planet, and that's Islam. So if I'm gonna worship God, and I'm gonna worship God in a way which is true to my own personal beliefs, also what I understand about the world, what I understand about strength, what I understand about defending ideals, then there's only one religion on earth I can respect. I can't respect Christians anymore. They set Notre Dame on fire. Imagine that was the other way around. Like, think about it for a second. I say this all the time. People walk around with t-shirts. Jesus is gay in TVs. They're making fun of Christianity on TV. They're mocking your God in front of your face, and Christians don't say a word. They don't say a word. They will take a preacher of whatever background, which directly contradicts your holy book, and put him in a church to teach to your children, and they will not say a f***ing word. And then they sit there and go, well, they say tolerant because they're cowards. But the truth is this. If your interpretation of God and the world was right, I don't believe God would allow you to sit there and be such a f***ing coward. That's what I don't believe. I don't think that God would allow.
And there, we can only say amen.